Hello, everybody. We're the Geeks and the Janets, and this week we're doing really geeky stuff. Really geeky stuff. Or like,
That's possible.
fine, really weeby stuff. Okay, no.
Fuck you.
But yeah, this week we're doing some, I would say, a bit underrated or like not as beloved animes.
I would say it's underrated in the aspect of anime as a whole. But if you have been in the Gundam community and you've been like a fan for a while, it's pretty popular that this show is considered one of the best.
Okay.
From like the entire lineup. So yeah, again, if you're in the group or if you're in like the fandom, it's not that surprising. But of course, I would agree with Enzo that in the anime community, this might be a little bit underrated.
Yeah, and like as you've seen, we're doing the 8MS theme that came out in the 90s. Like it's an interesting time. Like when you see the other anime that came out, like there's this, and there's of course Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Well, this one came out in '95, technically, not in the '80s.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 90s, 80s. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Like around that era, usually like mecha anime was at a boom. We're getting like a lot of animes where and there's something that I don't see anymore. Like if you go to like Pat Labor or like Macross and you see the animations for these things with Gundam 8MS Team included, the animation is just much nicer. I don't know, maybe it's because it was hand drawn at the time. They didn't really use that much digital makeovers and stuff, or like 3D animation like we do now.
Yeah.
But you just don't see this kind of style anymore, and it is a bit upsetting. Like I guess you do see it in like the newer, maybe Ava movies, but they're mostly like CG'd, like computer generated, and I'm like, cool. God hope there's a studio that will bring back like the hand-drawn animations that like this time period gave us.
Yeah, I mean, like watching this series was a trip because like you don't see animation like this anymore. You rarely see hand-drawn animation. Like you're right, it's all like digital now. But like with all the pluses that has, there's also like cons to that because like you don't get as much detail as you mentioned. Like you mentioned this like yesterday before we met up today for Gundam. That there's much more detail here than there is with like other anime or like other animated shows or movies where like you don't get as much detail. Like with this Gundam, it's much. I do love the fact that it's much different than other of the newer stuff because you see like the grit and the dark. You see the dirt in the Gundam's like armor and the plating.
Yeah,
you don't really see that much detail. Like when you look, like when you pause, you're like, there's a lot of dirt on that Gundam. Like I don't really see that anymore.
Do you know like a lot of the scenes that I love is just like usually when people get into Gundam, they would think of Double O or maybe Iron Bladed Orphans, where you would get like a lot of these very stylized Gundams, very clean, sometimes like very flashy. And I love it that here it is more grounded, which adds on to the fact that, as you said, it's dirty. You see a little bit of patina on the Gundam, you know it's been used, it's been lived in. You see them like putting on like a camo blanket on a Gundam or like on a mobile suit, whether it be a Zaku or one of the GMs, and I'm just like, I find it really cool. Again, it's like it does feel like it's they like had a consultant who was probably in the military and was just like, yeah, if we had giant robots, we would do this to them.
Yeah, like it's cool to see like the guns being lifted up and placed on the Gundam, like just having this whole like almost like Vietnam as like style of combat for the Gundams. Like you rarely see that with the newer stuff. Like it's all like just one like main Gundam and like the rest are just like shiny and cool space things. But here you're just like you're on the ground. It's boots on the ground. Even the mobile suits are called grounded units, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ground types. There is a bit of a debate, and I still don't know because they do have a Gundam head, but they weren't considered Gundams in the community from what from what I remember. They did say it is a Gundam in in the show, but there is a debate. Like, it is maybe a very nerfed Gundam. Because, again, if I were to say what a Gundam is compared to other mobile suits, a Gundam would be like the Lamborghini or the Ferrari of robots. While, I guess, this kind of, like, Gundam or mobile suit would be probably like a Subaru WRX STI. Sorry, or Evo, if anyone knows their cars. You know what I mean.
Alright.
Just a little downgrade from like a very like hypercar. This is like a supercar kind of deal. I don't know if that would translate well to majority of our audience.
I guess those were really... There's a Venn diagram somewhere of car enthusiasts and Gundam enjoyers, you know? Hopefully the Venn diagram isn't just two circles and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
A WRX SDI, that's a sexual disease.
But yeah.
No, yeah, but so far usually there's a little bit of a debate on that one, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
This show is so fucking good. As much as I would love to see like a very flashy Gundam flying about taking out an entire army, I like the limitations. I like the fact that there's a higher risk and everything like that.
Yeah,
in this one.
See, in combat, they have to be a bit more careful. When like Zero is in the jungle, you have to really pick your shots well. Yeah, it's not like the Gundam that I'm used to, like say IBO, where like it just comes in and destroys a lot of the mechs, and I'm like, all right, Barbatos. Here, just like I have to aim well, can't waste my shots, and I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, you're a Gundam. Fucking act like it, but like I'm just too used to the newer stuff. So yeah,
and even like they run out of ammo. I'm just like, I was like, shit, I forgot that's a fucking thing,
right?
You know, they're waiting for payloads to come in. They're waiting for ammo and like supplies to come in, and it's just very real. Yeah, and even the team, like we have a really good, diverse team that, in my opinion, is a standout in of itself.
Yeah,
like no one is wasted here. You get a good amount of characters, even though some are a little short-lived. But I feel like that's appropriate. Like, let's say, God, what's his name again? The blonde guy who like.
Oh, I like his own. Likes his own music.
Yeah, like
Ellador.
Puts his own music in the Ellador. Yeah, Ellador is a character. He's funny. He's somewhat the comic relief, but he has enough screen time, like the appropriate amount of screen time. You don't like need to show too much of his side. We got enough, and I would say that throughout the entire like Karen, we got the Reaper. Sorry, I forgot his main name.
I can't find it either. Terry Sanders. Okay.
Sanders. There we go. Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting cast. I like the main driving point is the relationship between Shiro and Aina. Like, he's on the Federation side and she's on the Imperial side. Am I right?
Yeah, like the Zeon side.
Yeah, Zeon side. Her and her brother are like causing chaos, and like I do like the commentary on like war. Like it's been said for decades at this point that Gundam is has very great commentary on like war and like the casualties of war, and like since it comes from Japan, you're like, yes, from those most experienced, from like dealing and taking in what war is, you know. But just to see the fanatic side of like both sides, like you can see how wrong both sides are. Like they both resort to like torture or like extreme means of interrogation, and like they're
sorry, go on.
Or like wiping out an entire village, and you're like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ, I forget how heavy this can be.
Yeah, I'm just like, damn, this hella Vietnam, you know.
Right.
Yeah, like even the good guys that we think in like Shiro Amada is part of, like the Federation, not really the good guys. Like they're willing to even blow up like a transport ship that has like the injured in it. I'm just like, damn, where do we draw the line? And that's like, that's a big commentary when it comes to Gundam. It's just like, where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
Especially within the story of like the UC Century, where like the Zeon would like pretty much drop an entire colony on Australia and make a huge crater, taking out all the spiders. But yeah, and here, while like Federation just gets desperate and pretty much does every tactic that they can,
Yeah.
even though it is a war crime.
Like, yeah, you see the difference, like of between like those on the field and those calling the shots. Like the generals being like, shoot that spaceship down, and they're like, but it's just civilians and wounded soldiers, and he's like, I don't care, just shoot it down. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But like the show really, I appreciate the fact that it's not afraid to have its slow moments, like that entire episode in the desert where it's just them and Kiki, and I'm like, anybody else who has less patience would be like, where the fuck is this show going? Can you move on?
Yeah. I will say there's some lines here that don't really age well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially when it comes to Kiki, because Kiki, I'm guessing, is probably still a teenager, not even hitting 18 yet.
Yeah.
And there are a little bit of shots here where I'm like, I don't know if it's okay to look at this.
Right.
And even like Shiro Amada has a little bit of sketchy lines where you're like, oh, you're nice to look at. I'm like, ooh.
Like, moving on. Like, yeah, that one Xeon officer like picks Kiki up and he's like, you'll do. I was like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you're pretty. I'm like,
and then he just eats bazooka. I was like, yeah, that's appropriate for this scumbag.
Yeah. Oh, I love that episode. Yeah, we're like, I love it that Shiramada is a commander here. Like, we're too used to the trope of like a teenager following orders, whether if he should follow these orders, not knowing what he should do, being tossed around the war until he has his own resolve of like, I can make my own shots.
Yeah.
While here, we get the eyes of a commander. And at some points, like at the start, he's a little rocky, but then you kind of see his leadership skills like pretty much grow.
Yeah.
I like that. And within that episode, like an episode before this one, he loses the mobile suit.
Yeah.
Like it gets destroyed. So he kind of just like Metal Gears it. He just like has a rifle, has a bazooka, and just like takes on 3 Zakus. I'm just like, mad, like that's a commander right there.
Right. Like, I do love the fact that these Gundams like take massive damage and they're still usable. Like when Karen loses her head and like Eldor has to like manually help her aim. I'm like, Jesus Christ. If I was Eldor, I'd be like, you know what? This life ain't for me. I'm gonna keep making music. And he does, but like at that moment he's like, I have to stick my courage in the sticking place and just suck it up and just be a soldier for once. And he does like push through, which I do love. But yeah, just seeing how well paced the show is. Like, you look at other like 90s shows and like there are greats obviously, but there are others where you're like, man, this is slow, or like, man, it's dragging.
Yeah, like a lot of shows back in the day would have a lot of fillers. This one's taking a little bit of like the trend of like having just 12 episodes, which is like, I would say, a nice amount of time that we would have with these characters.
Yeah.
And since the 1-year war, which is what they're in, didn't span out that long, we didn't need 50 episodes of them having their life, like just watching their life. So 12 episodes, I would say, was appropriate.
Yeah, it's nicely condensed, and like I do like the I don't think, is there any follow-up to this, or is it just one and done?
It's a one and done. It is just like what happened in Jaburo, like the war, which is technically Vietnam. So everything that's outside of that is like World War II. This is Vietnam. Where there's gorillas, there's the trees speaking Vietnamese, the kind of deal.
Oh yeah. Like
the absolute like creative tactics of like how to take out a base. I love that.
Yeah, like I do love the moving forward, like going from like jungle combat to like urban combat with that one commander in blue. That's a one hell of a fight. Like, I do love the fact that I saw some comments on the internet saying that like it doesn't live up to the hype because it's old, it's clunky. But like I do like that.
No, fuck no. I was rewatching it. Holy shit, this fight is still good.
Yeah.
I think we're just a little spoiled with like something like Unicorn, where again very flashy. You see funnels flying everywhere. You see things flying off all about. But seeing a mobile suit that weighs like God knows how many tons move around, like this seems very realistic, and I think it's still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, you hear the metal clashing, and like you don't. Again, you do kind of get that today, but like it just feels so much more realistic when it's hand drawn. Like you feel like metal scraping against metal. You feel the punches and the shots, and I'm just like, this is fucking cool. Not gonna lie. I do also like the romance between Shiro and Aina. Like it didn't drag on. Like it didn't become annoying where I'm like, can we get back to the Gundams, please?
Yeah, I agree. I also agree. But in my opinion, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it deserved the payoff I got.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I have to be real. The romance was like, oh, kind of Cinderella-esque. Oh, like I met you at a party. Suddenly, I'm in love with you. I want to get married. It kind of feels like that. They met like 3 fucking times, and they fell in love and had a baby. And I'm just like,
yeah, that's the only time I'm just like, that's a bit too magical for this realistic setting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the build-up for the romance was a bit weird, but I guess that wasn't the focus.
Yeah. A question though, did you watch the I accidentally watched the hour-long animated feature first before watching the entire series? Because there's like an hour-long episode. It's like a compilation of It's like a compilation of all the other episodes of how. No.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that?
What the fuck did you watch?
It like came with the site I watched it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, an hour for the first episode? That's unusual for anime. And then I just realized, oh, I didn't have to watch that because I was going through episodes 1, 2 to 12. I was like, oh fuck, it was just a compilation. Okay.
Yeah. So did you get spoiled?
Yeah. Like when they revisited scenes, I'm like, it's like from the time Shiro meets Aina to the time they crash in the mountains and they go their separate ways. I was spoiled on that. So going back to those episodes, I'm like, I feel like deja vu. What the fuck?
I'm so sorry, man. You had to go through that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no big plot twist anyway.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm kind of mixed. I kind of wish I stuck to the Gundams, fighting Gundams though, because I don't know how I feel about the whole Death Star thing.
Oh, you mean like the mobile armor? It's not like a new thing at the time. There was other mobile armors. There will be gigantic robots that kind of like that. I also kind of wish they kind of just stuck with like maybe Zaku's versus like Federation mobile suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a really big fan as well of like giant thing with a death ray kind of deal. Even with when they introduced the Easy 8. By the way, I am so confused. So rewatching it, I was like Shiro Amada is supposed to be like somewhat punished or court-martialed because he's kind of suspected to be a spy.
Yeah.
Because he has relations with Aina.
Yeah.
But they give him the best mobile suit that they got, which was the Easy 8. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, they even sent like that one sniper to kill him by the end of the battle. And I was like, okay, sure. You really want to do that to your best, like on the boost commander right now? But you know, you do you. Corporate's just otherwise. But
yeah, power hungry like generals kind of deal.
Yeah. Also, the last episode really just stops everything at the halt, where they're like that one guy and Kiki just like, where's Shiro and Aina, and I'm just like, oh, I guess we're done with the battles.
Yeah. So like, so at the end they defeat the giant mobile armor.
Yeah.
Shiro and Aina goes missing, and I guess this is like, would you say a prologue? Or an epilogue?
Epilogue, yeah. This is like
Epilogue.
closure. But like at the same time, it's like I kind of don't need this closure. I'd rather have the open-ended ending.
I'll not gonna lie, you have that option. You could just stop it right there and just be like, did they make it? Did they not make it? Well, it showed that they did make it. And
But like,
had a leg together.
yeah, but
He lost
like,
a leg.
yeah, the last episode is like more solid confirmation. If you couldn't take the ambiguity of like, is that really him alive?
It doesn't make fucking sense. I don't get it, because like the start of the epilogue,
Yeah,
it's a Xeon ship with, of course, experimental pilots, which they were like children. They crash land into Jaburo, and they get adopted by Shiro and Aina.
yeah.
And I was just like, cool. Okay. Then we get like this like unanswered questions that were they ghosts? Were they real? Also, if Aina and Shiro were really good people and wanted to make a difference, why didn't they adopt them instead of just leaving them to squat at like a farmhouse?
They're like,
You know, like-
you live your own life. We don't have food and money, please. Aren't you the princess?
Right? And I was just like, they left them to a point where they had to bury one of their own because they couldn't fucking help her. I was just like, where was Shiro and Aina? What the fuck?
Just chilling at the lake house, man.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they taught us how to survive, you know. I was like, they didn't wanna like Angelina and Brad Pitt, you guys?
Guess not.
No.
But yeah, that's the only episode where I'm like, I don't like this.
Same here. I feel like we didn't need the whole, oh, they adopted kids, were they ghosts or not. I feel like it should have just been Mikhail just looking for Shiro and Aina, seeing if they're dead or not,
Yeah,
asking questions. See, I would have loved it if they just went back through like all the battlefields that they went through together.
yeah,
Yeah. But instead, that's not really the case.
yeah.
Also,
yeah.
if you're confused about like the whole why is it snowing in a tropical island, look, when they dropped the colony, it fucked up the weather. That's why it snows there.
How lovely.
Anyway.
Anyway, so anything else to add before we wrap this up?
I think we kind of glossed over the Easy 8 and Golf fight a little too quickly.
Oh yeah, it's fucking sick when that thing Gauf comes down the building just spraying bullets, like taking out every tank. I was like, holy fuck, this is pretty cool.
I do love that, but they actually mentioned that they're like, hey, this is what an ace is.
Yeah,
And none of the Federation mobile suits were an ace.
yeah,
They were just fighting one. I'm like, usually that's the main character.
yeah, exactly. Like I think any other Gundam like Unicorn or IBO, well even IBO they were rookies, but like
I would say Nika was an ace.
yeah,
How
yeah,
effective he was at the start. Yeah.
that is true. But like this guy is like fucking big boss compared to like all the other rookies. I'm just like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna win this?
And like, I do love it that he used his environment. By the way, it's a move in the game where he pulls up like a highway as a shield. I'm like, that's cool.
Which game?
It was Jesus. It was a Gundam fighting game back in the day. I played it on like PS3.
Oh, I thought you were about to say for it was in we call that Overwatch, but with Gundams.
No. No. I wish that character was there. My God, that would be cool. But sadly, that game is dead. By the way.
Yeah, I figured because I was like, yeah, how is this Gundam again?
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, everything being said, what would you rate Mobile Suit Gundam 8 MS Team?
That's a toughie.
Hmm.
No, because I do consider this one of my favorites, and I would say, like, I'll give it an appropriate 9 out of 10. You know,
Okay.
I'm just gonna be real. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a well-paced Gundam series. It's not overwhelming. You don't need to know anything about like any other stories that happens in the UC Century, like Amuro Ray and the first Gundam, or Zeta, or Stardust Memories. These are all separated stories with their own kind of just like bubble.
Yeah.
Like, so you're not affected by, you have to know that show to know this show.
Okay.
It ain't like that. So you could fully enjoy the show without knowing anything about the original Gundam.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about it. It's very beginner friendly. If you're more into military tactics, slow paced kind of stories, rather than the flashy, big space battles, this might be your thing. But if you would lean towards more of like, you know, Gundam Seed, Double O, the slow pace might not be for you. I do have a couple of friends who are Gundam fans, but they can't stand the UZ Century. Because it's, again, they're like, oh, they don't got wings. You know, like, they're not supposed to. It's supposed to be realistic.
To the uninitiated, for the audience, what is the UC Century?
So UC Century is kind of like the prime timeline, where, like, the first Gundam is set in. Like, the first ever TV series, the whole 1 year war thing. And then you get the whole, like, Unicorn, you get Hathaway's Flash. All that story is revolving around Federation versus Zeon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a UC Century.
Oh, so IBO, Witch from Mercury aren't universal?
They're not connected.
Okay.
It's yeah. You got like After Calamity or something like that, or like you got those kind of timelines, but it doesn't have to be connected.
Okay.
You could just you for sure. There's a YouTube video somewhere that kind of has a whole diagram of it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Going back to my rating. It is a 9 out of 10. It is a good show. The only reason why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10, even though it is one of my favorites, is because yes, the last episode, even like the conclusion was a little lackluster. Like Easy 8 is supposed to be like, hey, this is the Hail Mary. This is the best of the best. We didn't get all that much. It's cool when we saw it fight,
Yeah.
but again, very short-lived. And then the ending, like the epilogue, was a little too out of place.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't need the story with the kids, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see myself giving this anything lower than a 9. Just like, it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty amazing to watch. Like, just seeing how styles all come together and to create this, like, as you said, Vietnam as a jungle urban combat Gundam that we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen since. And yeah.
No, you're right. Like, Jaburo is supposed to be like jungle warfare.
Like, the characters are great, like the storytelling is great until like the end and the epilogue where I'm just like, wow, you really just halted the whatever momentum you had. We're just like, bah, face first into a car crash. We're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done with the mobile suit stuff. We're just fucking around with people who may or may not be ghosts. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. But like, it doesn't really take away that much from the show because everything leading up to that is pretty excellent. And like, maybe in the future we do more Gundams. That's a question I want to extend to the audience. What Gundams do you think we should do next? We already did IBO. We did Hathaway's Flash. We did this one.
Well, I'm not the audience, but yes, I would like to hear the others' opinions. If you want us to do Wing, or like maybe Turn A or something like that,
Seed.
let us know. Or Seed, Zeta, Double Zeta,
Yeah.
or Victory, either one. I'll like just give it to us, or we'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna go on a theme here, since we are doing like UC Century, if I would say if 8th MS team is like Platoon or Apocalypse Now of Gundam. We can do Stardust Memories, which is the Top Gun of Gundam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's one of my recommendations, and hopefully we could do like a review on that.
Yeah, I would like to do Unicorn since that is the first Gundam show series I ever watched in my life.
Didn't we already do a Unicorn?
We did IBO and Hathaway's
We
Flash.
did IBO and Hathaway's. Alright,
Yeah.
good. Can't wait for the second movie.
Yeah. It's been a while since we did a Gundam. Like the Gundams we did were like the opening of like the first year of GND. So like it's nice to come back to Gundam. And like we did the first movie last year, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do more Gundams. I don't know if ever you're gonna. You have a Gundam, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Like or the Lolo.
yeah. I have the
Yeah.
tiny RTX. So
Yeah.
yeah. For beginners. One day I hope to do Banshee, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, that's been our review for Mobile Suit Gundam 8 MS Team. What do you guys think? If you like what you see here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go. Maybe you can hear us on a mobile suit in the far distant future.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, right. You'd be like, oh damn, this Geeks and the Giants pretty solid. Too bad I started watching them.
Oh, a classic.
Too bad I started listening to them like 3 centuries too late. And the video enjoyed his voices on TikTok and Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JongJuM_ on Instagram. It is Mario.com.
Yeah, and we move from mobile suits and Gundams to the next one, which is all about the afterlife. But John won't be with us for that one. Angels. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. No, I ain't willing to watch that again. Too sad. Anyway,
Yeah, well, I had to watch it again. But anyway.
I'm sorry. You'll see it. You'll just fucking see it.
Yeah, till that video and the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.